All right, good afternoon, traders. Hopefully, everyone is having a good day today. All three market indices down today. Now, before I get into the show, I really do want to thank all my subscribers. I really do appreciate you guys tuning in and watching. Now, if you're not a subscriber and you happen to be watching the show, go ahead and do so. I really do think you're going to get a lot of valuable information from my technical analysis. All right, with that, as you know, we are going to go over the SPY. We are going to go over the stocks that I did recommend from yesterday. I do have one subscriber who asked me about APA, and then we are going to give you the three stocks that are setting up really nicely technically going into tomorrow. All right, let's go right into the SPY. All right, so as you know, we did make a 52-week high in the SPY last week, and if you remember from those shows, I did say I was a little concerned. You know, we're hitting this upper Bollinger Band, but since then we've kind of retraced a little bit. We're in this really nice trading range the last 6-7 trading days, and it's really nice to see that this 10 SMA has been coming up as price has been steady, and I really love to see that because typically that 10 SMA is going to show a lot of support right here. So for tomorrow, how do we play this? Well, you know, let's see how it opens first of all, but more importantly, let's see what happens in that first 30 minutes of trading. Typically, I don't do anything that first 30 minutes because usually, you make the wrong decisions. There's been a lot of times where, I've bought because I thought the market was going to grind higher, and then all of a sudden, after that, the first 30 minutes, there was it would just wash you out. Conversely, a lot of times where it gapped lower and, just kind of, just sold because I thought the market was going to go lower only to see the market rebound. So again, watch to see two things: how we open, if we gap up or gap down, and then wait for that first 30-minute candle to see how that plays out. Okay, that's how to play tomorrow. All right, that's the SPY. All right, let's go into the three stocks I had recommended from yesterday. Two or three of those stocks did really well, one not so well. Let's go over the one that did not perform well. That's NETE. It was down $1.14. Over 7%. But the bad news is I did get long as soon as it took out the previous day's high, did get in up here at $14.90, and I did sell right down here when it took out yesterday's high. So now if you're in the name, best case scenario that we do gap and go tomorrow, hopefully we see that action where we gap higher and then clearly we just continue to go higher if you're in the name, obviously. But if it doesn't, it starts going lower. You're going to have to see if this midpoint Bollinger Band right down here at 1308 holds. Now, if it doesn't, there's a high probability this is going to go lower. So be very careful if you're in the name. Just watch these key levels, and hopefully we can gap up and move higher in this one. Okay, that is NETE. Took a bad loss on this one. Next stock that I recommended from yesterday was STNG. If you remember from yesterday's show, I did say there was some good news that came out after market, so I did expect this to move higher today. So I really love the way the chart's setting. We are moving above this point of control. We're above this 200-day moving average. We haven't been above this 200-day moving average in a very long time. So now going forward, I do think this will be bought on pullbacks. Look at this. This stock has been basing here for the last 6-7 months. I don't think people, the traders or whomever's in this stock is going to bail on the first sign of a good day. I really do think this is going to continue going higher for the next week or so at the very least. Okay, that is STNG. Got in at the open and still long STNG. Next stock that I did recommend from yesterday was WKHS. So now, if you remember from yesterday's show, I did say we did close really close to the low of the day. So there's a high probability that we were going to take that low out. Now, if we did, target this 10 SMA right here as your entry point, and I did. Right, the 10 SMA was right down here at 23.88. I did get long at 23.90, and then it just started moving up after that, and I really like the way it closed. We closed not too far from the high of the day, so now I'm looking to see what happens tomorrow. Now, clearly, I'm going to use this 10 SMA as my stop price, but if we do take out today's high tomorrow, I am going to target this value area high, and if that were to happen, and if we can, let me zoom out here real quickly because I did draw this ascending descending trend line right here. If we can get above this value area high and then breach this descending trend line from over here, I really do think we're going to make 52-week highs. Okay, that is WKHS. Be a buyer tomorrow again if you want, above today's high, and then clearly use this 10 SMA right down here as your stop, okay? Last stock that I did recommend from yesterday was UAVS. Now that this really had a good day today. If you remember from yesterday's show, I did say be a buyer above yesterday's high, which was 805, and that's exactly what I did. I had my alert set at 803, got in at 805, and then this just went off to the races. Had a really nice short squeeze on big volume. I did get out of the name. I'm going to show you why I got out. So here we go. As you know, I do like using that 30-minute candle chart. I'm going to zoom in right here. So after taking out that 804, 805 area in that first 30-minute candle, the stock had continued to go higher all day, right, till traders capitulated right here. And that's where I call it made this high, but it's called the poor high, right, because it went up, it had this long wick, and then it just started, going down from there. So anytime it started taking out that low, right, it stopped making higher highs. So I did get out right here, right around 1010, 1020 in that area. Okay, guys, I did get out, had a really good gain on this of over $2 in UAVS. All right, before we move on to the three stocks that look good going into tomorrow, I did get a question from one of my subscribers, HK. He had a question about APA, and he asked me what I thought about APA. Now, I really love this stock. I love the way it's setting up. That everything is looking good on this one. We have the 10 above that 50 above that 200, and as you know, as anyone who does watch the show, those three indicators have to be in that line in order for a nice bullish chart, and that's what we have right now. Now, on top of that, we're above the value area high, as you can see. We have very little shares traded above us. So what does that mean? That means there's going to be very little resistance going forward. So in my opinion, every pullback is going to be bought up here. Okay, that's APA. Let's bring this up on the 513 chart real quick to give that confirmation. Oh, here we go on the 9 SMA. Here's that weekly chart right here, and the 9 SMA is below, price is above. That's a great sign. And then lastly, that 513 EMA. Is the 5 EMA above the 13? And it is. We zoom in, that 5 EMA is above the 13, looking good. So HK, thank you for being a subscriber. I really do like APA. I think that $20 target price that you had put on it is going to happen in a short period of time. Okay. All right. Thanks again. Okay. Let's go into the three stocks that look really good going into tomorrow, and then I will let you go for the night. Okay, first one's going to be FUBO. This is one that I do own, played in the past, and here's another opportunity to get into the name. All right, so now FUBO, the reason why I like it, I'm going to bring this up on that 513 EMA chart that I really like. So obviously today it took out yesterday's high, but if you take a look, where did it stop? Right here at that 13 EMA. Traders came in and defended that level. So what do we do for tomorrow? Well, let's wait for that first 30-minute candle. So now if we gap up and we clearly and quickly take out today's high, I would be a buyer and then use that 13 EMA where we saw support as your stop price. Now, if it does open flat, but it starts taking out stops on the downside, try to be a buyer as close as down here as possible, and then obviously let this run while still using that 13 EMA down here as your stop at 3278. Okay, FUBO, be a buyer above today's high or that first 30-minute candle, and use that 13 EMA as your out. Okay, next stock on the list that looks good for tomorrow is one that we've played in the past but not for a very long time. It's AVXL. So as you know, we made this really nice 52-week high back here in early November, came back down right here, and then we've bounced, made a lower high. Now we made a higher low rather, and now we're setting up real nicely. The 10 is above that 50 is above that 200. We're not too far from that value area high, and then there's not, again, much inventory above us. So for tomorrow, again, use today's high as as to get into the name, all right, or maybe on a pullback if you'd like. If you see a little bit of a pullback early in the morning, but the key is on this one, you have to use this 50-day moving average all the way down here at 548 as you're out. But I really like the setup on this one. That 10 is above that 50 and that 50 is above that 200. We're not too far from that value area high. And again, there's not much inventory or shares traded, so we're not going to see that resistance above us. Okay, that is AVXL. Last stock on the list that looks really good going into tomorrow is RVP. As you can see, we made that 52-week high in mid-December. It's pulled back nicely right here to that 50-day moving average. We're still above that value area high, which is real nice, and that 10 is above that 50, and that 50 is above that 200. So again, for tomorrow, you have to use this 50-day moving average as your stop. If you could see a little bit of a pullback all the way down to this 10 SMA, maybe at 1140, 1142 area, I'd be a buyer, and then clearly use that 50-day moving average right down there as your stop price. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining me on this beautiful Thursday afternoon. My name is Eric, and please leave a comment down below. If you like the show, give me a thumbs up, and if you don't like the show, give me a thumbs down. I really don't care. It's all good to me. But anyway, thank you so much for joining me. And if you're a subscriber, thank you very much. And if you're not a subscriber and you happen to be watching the show, go ahead and do so. I really do think you're going to get a lot of valuable information from my technical analysis. I give you in prices, out prices, why we're getting into the stock and why we're getting out. Okay. Again, thank you so much. We will see you after the close tomorrow. And remember, trade smart and be safe.